My name is Catherine, and I'm 40 years old. I work in the office of a printing company. Right now, I'm in the middle of the reception with my husband, Mark, whom I met through our mutual acquaintance. It's a bit of a late marriage by most standards, but many friends and colleagues have come to celebrate with us. The reception is going smoothly, and now a performance by Mark's friends has begun. Suddenly, Mark jumps up and walks toward one of the tables.
I still love you.
What? Mark was headed toward one of his guests, a woman, and without hesitation, he hugged her. To my disbelief, he even kissed her. My mind went blank. The room buzzed with shock, and in that moment, the performance ended.
And that concludes the entertainment by the groom's friends.
The MC stumbled over his words as light applause followed. What was that? Still not fully processing what had happened, I just sat there with my hands on my thighs, staring at Mark and the woman, who were still locked in a kiss.
And now the bride and groom will exit for their dress change. Please give them a big round of applause as they leave.
The MC's voice seemed distant as I walked toward the exit with Mark, linking arms with him. The moment I did, I was hit by the overwhelming smell of alcohol coming from him. When did you start drinking so much?
Yeah.
I'd noticed Mark had been unusually excited during the reception, and now it was clear that he had been drinking way more than usual. We both waved to the guests as the doors closed behind us, and we were out of sight. What was that about? Explain yourself.
Explain? What?
That woman you kissed. Why did you do that? Who is she?
Come on, relax. Oh, her. She's my ex.
Ex. Why would you invite your ex to our wedding? What were you thinking?
We have mutual friends. It would have been mean not to invite her. Don't get mad over something like that.
You cared more about her feelings than how I'd feel about having your ex here. That's unbelievable.
Come on. We're 40 now. Who cares about ex at this point? I wouldn't mind if you invited one of yours.
Just inviting her wouldn't have been a big deal. I wouldn't have even noticed. But you kissed her. In front of everyone, during the reception. I was humiliated.
It was just part of the show. I thought it'd be funny. And hey, it worked, didn't it? Everyone was shocked. My surprise success.
Stop joking around. That wasn't funny at all.
Okay, hurry up and get changed, or we're gonna run out of time. I'm heading to the bathroom. Ouch.
Wait, are you okay?
I'm fine. Totally fine.
Mark, clearly very drunk, tripped and fell face first onto the floor.
Man, she was really into it too, huh? Ouch.
This time, he smacked his face into a tall lamp. He wobbled away toward the bathroom, with staff helping him along the way. At this rate, he's probably going to hit his face in the bathroom too. I don't want to go back. I was afraid to return to the reception with the awkward atmosphere still lingering. But there's no stopping it now. I decided I'd just grit my teeth and get through today. After finishing my change of dress, I waited at the door, ready to re-enter. Mark came over beside me.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Maybe after all the falling, he sobered up a little. He seemed steadier on his feet. Curious about his condition, I glanced at his face and then froze in shock just as the doors opened. The moment we stepped into the hall, there was a ripple of gasps and murmurs. No wonder. Mark's face was covered in bruises and bumps from all the falls. It was obvious something had happened during the dress change. It looks like I was the one who beat him up. Sure enough, as we passed the table where my best friend sat, she gestured. Did you hit him? No. I frantically shook my head, denying it. Wrapped in this strange tension, Mark and I sat down. The reception resumed. I'm so embarrassed. I want to leave right now. I was too scared to look around and see the reactions of the guests. I just stared at the plate of food in front of me, unable to lift my head. I just have to get through today. Once it's over, I'll ask Mark when he's fully sober. Maybe it was really just a stupid joke for the entertainment. I kept trying to convince myself.
And now, moving on.
Please wait.
The MC's words were interrupted by a woman standing up. Her name was Olivia Carter, my cooking teacher. She walked over to the MC, took the mic, and said,
I must apologize on behalf of my niece for her behavior earlier.
Olivia?
Catherine, I'm truly sorry. That girl, Holly, is my niece.
I couldn't believe the connection. What were the odds? I glanced over at Holly, Mark's ex-girlfriend. She looked panicked, clearly unaware that her aunt was here. With over 100 guests, they hadn't noticed each other until now.
I'm sorry to interrupt so suddenly. I'm Catherine's cooking instructor, and I was invited to the wedding today. I had no idea my niece would do something like that. I'll make sure Holly takes full responsibility for her actions.
Wait, Auntie, I didn't know you were here.
I didn't know either. What were you thinking doing something like that?
Please don't tell Mom and Dad. It wasn't my fault. He just came over and kissed me out of nowhere. I was just as shocked as anyone.
Really? Because that kiss lasted quite a while.
I was just frozen in surprise, that's all.
Is that really all? Because I know the truth. I know Holly and Mark have been having an affair.
So it's true. I felt utterly disappointed. A small part of me had hoped that Mark was just playing a stupid prank.
It's so humiliating to find out my niece's affair partner is my own student's husband.
That's not true. What are you saying in front of all these people?
Mark, now completely sober, started desperately trying to defend himself.
Yes, Holly and I did date, but that was a long time ago. We broke up long before I started dating Catherine.
Then why did you kiss Holly? Here, of all places, during your own wedding reception.
I was drunk. I was nervous and drank too much.
Or maybe the alcohol just brought out your true feelings?
I already explained to Catherine. It was supposed to be part of the entertainment. A prank. I guess my acting was just too convincing, huh?
That prank wasn't funny at all.
Catherine?
If Olivia hadn't told me, I would have been fooled by this cheating man for the rest of my life.
It's a misunderstanding. Holly and I are over, I swear.
I don't need someone who can easily do something so hurtful to me.
Wait. Hold on. What's going on here?
Mark turned to Olivia and shouted. His voice, loud enough to be heard throughout the room without a mic, grated on everyone's ears.
What do you want?
You've ruined my wedding reception, and now you're spreading false information in front of everyone. You'd better be ready to face the consequences.
That's my line. Are you ready for yours?
What?
Olivia walked over to the area where the sound equipment was set up, phone in hand. She started talking with the staff there about something.
What are you doing?
Not just Mark and I, but the whole room was now focused on her. Suddenly, the lights dimmed, and the sound of a projector starting up filled the room. It was as if a mute button had been lifted. and the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. All eyes turned to the screen behind me. When I turned around, there was Mark, walking with his arm around Holly, his ex-girlfriend, displayed on the screen. Is that Mark and Holly?
Why is that here?
By the way, this photo was taken yesterday.
Olivia swiped her thumb across her phone, revealing the timestamp at the bottom of the screen. There was no denying it. It was from yesterday. So, you were cheating the day before our wedding? That's pretty bold of you.
This is definitely me and Holly, but it's a misunderstanding. We ran into each other by chance in town, and she mentioned the wedding. We were just getting excited about it. That's all. That's why we had our arms around each other.
Mark desperately tried to talk his way out of it. But Olivia wasn't having it.
There's more to this photo.
She scrolled through her phone, showing a series of photos that followed the first one, like a slideshow. In the pictures, Mark, still with his arm around Holly, was walking toward a hotel. The last photo showed them clearly entering the hotel. Think you can explain this away?
Catherine, this isn't what it looks like.
You keep saying it's not what it looks like. But what is it? You said you broke up with your ex, but are you actually still together?
No.
Right, sure. I get it. Mark, who had been flushed red from the alcohol, was now pale, denying everything desperately. With all this proof, I can't trust you anymore.
I swear, it's not what you think.
Realizing the guests were starting to look at him with suspicion, Mark kept trying to soothe me while nervously glancing around. Holly, still seated, was also shrinking under the judgmental stares from the surrounding guests. Aren't you going to say something? You can't just sit there quietly and hope this blows over.
You owe everyone an explanation, Holly.
Yeah, but why does Auntie even have these photos?
Don't change the subject. I'm asking you to explain yourself.
Come on, it's weird. There's no way she could have gotten these pictures unless someone was following me constantly.
So, you admit the photos are real, and you're confirming your affair with Mark?
Yeah, so?
Holly,
While Mark kept denying, hoping to somehow get out of this, Holly had grasped the situation and admitted to their affair.
This is hopeless now, right? Yeah, Mark and I are having an affair. Satisfied? Now, Auntie, I've explained myself. So, how about you tell me why you have these photos?
As much as it pains me to air my family's dirty laundry, I guess I have no choice. If you want to know that badly, I'll tell you.
Olivia pulled the mic away from her mouth, took a deep breath, and said,
My husband is also having an affair with you.
What? The room erupted, as if it were watching a heated sports event. Olivia's husband is also cheating with Holly?
That's right. I mean, can you believe it?
Olivia threw up her hands, as if to say she had given up.
My husband started acting strange about a year ago. He used to mock my job, saying it was just an extension of being a housewife. Then, all of a sudden, he starts complimenting me, telling me how hard I'm working. That's when I knew something was off. I figured he must be feeling guilty about something.
He started being nice to you because he was cheating?
That's what I think. He also suddenly started using hair gel.
That's even more suspicious. Several women in the audience nodded in agreement, clearly recognizing the pattern.
So, I hired a private investigator to look into it. I wanted to find out if he was cheating, and if he was, who with. And guess what? The other woman was none other than my niece.
A private investigator? Spending money on that? You really have too much time on your hands, Auntie.
Holly looked frustrated. realizing the evidence Olivia had presented was based on a thorough investigation.
Say what you want. By the way, it's me, the one with all this free time, who's paying the bills.
What?
I make more than my husband. I'm confident in what I earn, so it doesn't bother me what Holly says.
Olivia seemed to glow with confidence as she said this. Even after being cheated on, she remained calm and composed, exuding strength. I found myself admiring her instantly. Just as I was feeling inspired, Mark's pathetic voice interrupted.
Holly, you were seeing other guys while dating me?
Really, Mark? You're the one to say that? You did the same thing.
Well, yeah, but
Watching Mark stammer in his dissatisfaction, I felt completely done with him. He rekindled his relationship with his ex, cheated on me the day before our wedding, and kissed her right in front of me at our reception. And now he had the nerve to criticize her for cheating while ignoring his own actions. Was this really the man I was about to marry? Thanks to him humiliating himself, I finally realized the truth. Thank you, Mark,
what?
for opening my eyes.
What are you talking about? I don't get it.
Don't worry, it's nothing. Just me talking to myself. Mark's face twisted in confusion as he stared at my smile. At that point, Olivia started explaining again.
And during the investigation into my husband's affair, I found out Holly had another lover.
That was Mark, right? Olivia nodded, looking directly at me.
Exactly. I was planning to confront everyone involved soon. I never expected the man in question would be the groom at the wedding I was invited to.
Now, it all made sense.
When I saw the groom's face, I couldn't believe my eyes.
Understandable.
And then, to top it off, he kisses Holly out of nowhere. It's all so ridiculous, I can't even keep up.
Olivia held her head and expressed her confusion. The whole scene felt like something out of a comedy, and it eased the tension just a little. So much had happened in such a short time. My emotions had been like a roller coaster. So, it seems like Mark and Holly are our common enemies, right? Olivia silently nodded.
Sorry for revealing all this during the reception without permission.
No, it's fine. Honestly, I was embarrassed and wanted to leave early, so this actually worked out. I'm grateful you had the decisive proof. Olivia sighed in relief at my words.
I mean, I hate to say it, but this is some wild drama, isn't it?
The guests seemed quietly excited, watching the messy love affairs between the groom, his ex-girlfriend, and her aunt's husband. Their whispers were loud enough for Mark and Holly to hear, making them blush with embarrassment and tremble slightly. Looks like they're starting to realize just how humiliating this is.
Catherine, let's talk about this later calmly. You don't want to discuss this in front of everyone, do you?
That sounds more like what you want, Mark. I don't mind talking here. Let's let everyone hear what we're going to do from now on.
What? Do you mean from now on?
It seemed like the word divorce was finally dawning on him. Up until now, he'd been focused on making excuses, but now he was starting to panic. Mark came closer and whispered to me, so only I could hear.
Look, some of my colleagues are here. What's going to happen to my reputation? Just say it was a misunderstanding for now. We can talk about it later.
What was that? You're too quiet. Are you asking me to lie because your colleagues are here?
You idiot. Shut up.
Why should I have to cover for you, Mark? That's ridiculous.
Stop talking.
Sensing that I had no intention of reconciling with Mark, Olivia decided to help push him further into a corner.
Oh, and by the way, the groom has been having an affair during work hours.
That's not true.
Mark, is this true?
Several of Mark's colleagues stood up. A man who looked like his boss stared at Mark with disbelief.
That's a complete lie. I take my job seriously.
Oh, really? Is this what you call serious work?
Olivia displayed another image on the screen. Mark, is that inside a car?
That's the company's sales car.
Watch closely.
What we thought was a photo was actually a video. When the play button was pressed, Mark started moving on the screen.
Stop it. Don't show any more.
Come on, Mark. You said you take your job seriously. Let's see how you work. Holly appeared from the right side of the screen and slid into the passenger seat.
Why is a non-employee in the company car?
That is.
When asked, Holly struggled to respond. Mark jumped in to cover for her.
Yes. I actually happened to see her while I was driving for work. She didn't look well, so I gave her a ride home.
Is that so? It didn't look that way to me.
What?
The man, who Mark had called manager, pointed to the screen. When Mark turned to look, his jaw nearly dropped in shock. The video showed him and Holly leaning in and kissing.
It's just a coincidence.
Coincidence?
There was a bug in the car, and while we were both trying to avoid it, our faces kind of bumped into each other.
Bumped? You're clearly kissing.
Since this wasn't the kind of thing a grown man should seriously be explaining, several guests, including myself, looked down, biting our lips to hold back laughter. Focusing, I asked the manager a question. Does the company car have a dash cam? The manager nodded.
It does.
Then I suggest reviewing the footage. From what I can see, this looks habitual. Checking the GPS would confirm if he's been slacking off during work hours.
You're right. I'll look into it immediately.
Oh no.
Mark muttered softly. Despite appearances, Mark had been on the fast track in his career. He often said he was a future candidate for manager, but after this incident, that dream seems all but over.
Wait.
What is it? Once we gather evidence, you'll face appropriate consequences. Until then, stay quiet.
I was wrong. I was careless, using the company car for personal reasons. I deeply regret it, and I beg your forgiveness.
You may have been reckless during work, but what truly disappoints me is your behavior today. To act so shamefully in front of your bride. I can't trust someone that unprincipled with important responsibilities.
I swear, I'll be better from now on. Just give me one more chance.
You should be saying that to Catherine, not me. That's exactly your problem. You only think of yourself.
The manager said what I'd been wanting to say. Mark still hadn't apologized to me. All he cared about was saving his position, showing no remorse for what he'd done to me. Finally, with the manager's push, Mark turned to face me.
Catherine, I'm sorry. I won't cheat again. Please forgive me, and help me ask the manager for forgiveness too.
Are you kidding me? You finally apologize, and this is what you say. You haven't learned anything.
I have. I really have. But my promotion is on the line. I'll apologize more later. Just help me now.
Mark grabbed both of my arms tightly, shaking me. Stop. That hurts. Let go.
Please, I'm begging you. Help me talk to my manager.
He was completely blind to everything else around him. Let go of me.
Mark, enough already.
A booming voice rang out from the back of the room, and the place fell silent.
Dad,
How much disgrace are you going to bring upon yourself?
I won't be able to show my face in public anymore.
Mom too.
Mark's parents looked at him with faces full of both anger and shame.
I'll explain everything to you later.
What more is there to explain? It's all laid out right in front of us.
His in-laws got up from their seats and came over to me.
Catherine, I am deeply sorry for what our foolish son has done. No apology can make up for the pain he's caused you. I don't know how to begin to express my regret.
I'm so sorry as well. But please, can you reconsider the divorce?
That's for Catherine to decide. Don't try to force her into anything.
I know, but I was just so happy to have Catherine as my daughter-in-law. The thought of not seeing her anymore because of Mark's stupidity is just heartbreaking.
Oh, I really love my in-laws, but my mind is already made up. I'm sorry, but I've decided to divorce Mark.
Catherine. Yes, I understand. I'm sorry for being selfish. Of course, you don't want to stay with a man like Mark.
For the short time I was able to be your daughter-in-law, I was truly happy. When I said that, my in-laws hugged me. It breaks my heart that Mark ruined this wonderful family connection. As I was having this emotional moment with my in-laws, Mark cut in.
Wait, what do you mean you've decided on a divorce? Don't I get a say in this?
Your opinion doesn't matter. You cheated, so I'm divorcing you. That's all there is to it.
Please, don't divorce me. I'll do anything.
I was devastated, Mark. What bride wants to be cheated on the day before her wedding? It's laughable.
Holly and I were over a long time ago. She only showed up because she heard through the grapevine I was getting married.
What are you even talking about?
Holly immediately refuted his excuse.
You're the one who reached out to me. Don't lie.
Holly's the one lying, Catherine. I swear. I think she's trying to get back with me now that she regrets losing me while I'm on the path to promotion.
Mark kept making excuses without even looking at Holly, his eyes locked on mine.
Are you seriously blaming me? Don't mess with me.
Catherine, don't believe any word she says. She's bad news. I was tricked.
Do you really think I'm going to believe that now?
I know it's hard, but please, believe me on this one.
You don't have to believe him, Catherine.
Olivia. Olivia's secret weapon, the slideshow, was activated once again. This time, it displayed the messages between Mark and Holly. The first message was from Mark, saying, "Hey, it's been a while. Want to meet up sometime?"
No way.
Mark clutched his head and sank to the floor. "So, you lied to me again." Mark said nothing more.
I've shown all the evidence I have. I'll be reporting Holly's behavior to her family and fiancé myself.
"Holly, you're engaged?"
Yes, she is.
Auntie Olivia, please don't. We've already booked the venue and started planning my wedding. I can't handle a broken engagement now.
If you were about to get married, then you should understand how much effort goes into preparing for a wedding.
I do.
You betrayed people and ruined someone else's big day. Did you really think you'd just walk away with no consequences?
Holly hung her head, clutching the hem of her dress tightly.
You need to take responsibility for what you've done and accept the punishment. You're 35, not a child anymore.
With that, Holly wobbled over to me, her voice barely a whisper.
I'm deeply sorry.
Unlike Mark, she at least seemed genuinely remorseful. So I decided not to push any further. I accept your apology, but I won't forgive you. I'll be sending you a claim for damages later.
Yes.
That's for the affair and for ruining today's wedding. Make sure you pay up. Holly nodded silently. I had no doubt she would soon face a broken engagement. And given her involvement with Olivia's husband, she might even be shunned by her family. A bleak future seemed to hang heavily over her.
And I'll be keeping a close eye on that to make sure you don't skip out on the payment.
Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate your help.
Catherine,
Mark called out to me nervously, trying to gauge my reaction. Of course, I'll be sending you a claim for damages as well, and you'll pay for the entire wedding and reception. That's only fair, right? You two ruined everything.
will you forgive me if I do that?
Absolutely not. I'm saying this after we get divorced. Once you've paid everything, I'll cut off all contact with you.
Wait, please. Don't divorce me.
Catherine, you can ignore him. We'll make sure Mark takes responsibility and pays what he owes.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Catherine, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Enough. Goodbye, Mark. Take care.
Catherine, please.
I stepped down from the main table and headed straight for the exit. Passing through the door that the staff opened for me, I was finally free. Afterward, I divorced Mark, as we had already registered our marriage before the wedding. As promised, I demanded compensation from both Mark and Holly, and they each paid in full promptly. Although Mark was responsible for covering the entire cost of the wedding and reception, he had already paid my compensation, so his parents ended up paying the full amount for now. Mark is now in debt to his family and is struggling to repay them.
When he finally pays us back, I plan to cut ties with him completely. Let him rot on his own.
Mark doesn't know this yet. The thought of his face when he realizes he's been abandoned the moment he's debt-free makes me laugh. At work, Mark was demoted, and the promotion he had been promised was revoked. He was officially knocked off the fast track. Word of his affair spread through the company, and now people whisper behind his back, calling him the company car cheater. The only things Mark has left are his disgrace as a cheater and his debts. As for Holly, Olivia told me that she was dumped by her fiancé and, just like Mark, disowned by her family after her affair with Olivia's husband was revealed. Even after being disowned, Holly comes to her family's house every day, sobbing and banging on the front door, repeatedly begging, "Let me in," but no one opens the door, and everyone continues to ignore her existence. And now I've returned to my everyday life. I'm thinking positively. Maybe I'll find a new hobby and make the rest of my life richer and more fulfilling.